Hello students, and in this lecture we shall discuss about the LC filter and CLC filter, which is also referred to as pi filter. So again, here is the disclaimer. So these are the topics for today's class. L section filter, also referred to as LC filter or choke input filter, and the second one is pi filter or capacitor input filter. So in the last class we had just briefly discussed about the introductory part of L section filter. Fine. So basically, why do we require these filters? We had discussed in the previous lectures that the output of our rectifier, it contains a DC component as well as AC component, and these filters are used to minimize the undesirable AC signal, that is the ripple signal, leaving behind only the DC component to appear at the output. Now, as far as the ripple content of a rectified signal is concerned, it is of the order 48% in the full wave rectifier, and a majority of the applications cannot tolerate this. So we need to further process this particular output. Fine. And then we'll discuss how the capacitor filter and inductor filter are used, or the circuits are implemented to reduce this ripple content. Now here what you see right now is the output of LC filter. So the signal here is the output of rectifiers. So if I try to check out the signal at this point, it will be this, okay, and the output across the load is of this nature. We'll discuss why it is so. Now before that, we'll just revise the inductor filter. And in case of inductor filter, we had arrived at the ripple factor. We had derived in fact this equation, which was RL divided by 3 root 2 omega L. Fine. Now if I want to reduce the ripple, then I can change the value of RL or the value of inductor, that is L, and practically we cannot change the load because it depends upon the application itself. Fine. So this RL is decided by the application. But now for experimentation, if I want to reduce the value of R, fine, I need to reduce the value of RL. That means when I decrease the value of RL, the load, that is the current, will be on a higher side. So when the circuit demands RL to be low, that means your output current, that is the load current, will be high. So this particular filter, the L section, the L inductor filter, is used in case when the load current is high, or we say simply the load is high, or else we have to increase the value of L so as to reduce the value of R, that is the ripple content. Now this was about the inductor filter. Then we had also discussed about the capacitor filter. In case of capacitor filter, a capacitor is connected across the load resistance RL, and the ripple factor in case of capacitor filter that we have derived, basically it is VR RMS divided by VDC. Now here if I check out, so somewhere if this is the VDC, for full wave rectifier it is 2 Vm by pi, this value, and here this what you see right now, a varying signal, it is a VR peak to peak. Fine. Now as far as ripple factor is concerned, it is simply a ratio of unwanted signal in wanted signal. And what we want here is the a flat line, a constant value of VDC. But in practice what we get is this ripple. So we have to calculate how much is this ripple content, and which is normally expressed in terms of percentage. Fine. So how do we do that? We have to calculate the RMS value of this VR peak to peak signal. Fine. So when I say VR RMS, it is the RMS value of this particular signal, VR signal, which is a varying with respect to time, and VDC, okay, which is obtained using the equation 2 Vm by pi. Fine. So when we actually solve this, what we get is this value 4 root 3 F C R L. Now if a frequency is taken to be as 50 Hertz, capacitor in terms of microfarad, and resistor, that is the load resistor, in terms of ohms. Fine. Meaning if I take this as C into 10 to the power minus 6 and F as 50 Hertz, and if I substitute in this expression, what I get is R, that is the ripple factor, equals to 2890 divided by C dot RL. Now if we compare the ripple factor of these two circuits, here you see the RL, that is the load resistance, is a part of a numerator. Here RL appears in the denominator, and what we want is always the less value of ripple content. Fine. So we actually have to smoothen out this ripple voltage, which is the ripple voltage here, which is shown in a white color. So if I want to reduce the ripple, I have to increase the value of RL in the circuit. Fine. The moment I increase the RL, the load resistance, fine, the output current or the load current will be less. So you see the performance is contradictory. Here in case of inductor filter, the load current is high, meaning the inductor filter is used in circuits which demands high load, that is more output current, and the circuit which demands low current, fine, we can opt for capacitor filter. Fine. Now these two concepts, the inductor filter which is connected in series with the load, and the capacitor filter which is connected in shunt with the load, if we combine the two, what we get is a LC filter. Fine. So here right now what you see the circuit diagram, and the output waveform is for LC filter. And let me write here, this was about the recap of what we have studied in last two classes. So from this analysis to your right, we know that the ripple factor is directly proportional to the load resistance RL in the inductor filter. Fine. And it is inversely proportional to RL in the capacitor filter. So in a single statement I can explain this operation as the ripple factor is directly proportional to the load resistance RL in case of inductor filter, and it is inversely proportional to RL in case of capacitor filter. Therefore, okay, if these two filters are combined as LC filter or L section filter as shown in this circuit diagram, fine, the ripple factor will be independent of RL. So the advantage of using this LC filter is that when we derive the equation for ripple factor, let me directly write down the equation so that we can have a comparison between these three filters. Anyway, we are going to derive this. So the ripple factor for LC filter is 1.194 divided by LC. So this is the ripple factor for LC filter. Fine. Now here look at this equation. There is no RL term, there is no load resistance. That means what? The ripple factor is independent of your load resistance. Though you can use this particular circuit for this the circuit which demands heavy load or light load. So it is applicable to both conditions. Fine. Now if I look at this particular equation, ripple factor R equals to 1.194 divided by LC, you see here if the value of the inductance is increased, it will increase the time of conduction. Fine. So at some critical value of inductance, or one diode, either D1 or D2 in full wave rectifier will always be conducting. Fine. Now here we are assuming that as a part of rectifier circuit we are using center tapped full wave rectifier, wherein we make use of two diodes, say D1 and D2. Fine. And from our preliminary analysis, when we were introduced to inductor filter, we have studied that if the value of inductance is increased, it will increase the time of conduction, and at some critical value of inductance, one diode, either D1 or D2 in full wave rectifier will always be conducting. And the output voltage for this particular circuit can be expressed as a Fourier series, wherein we can write, so using Fourier series we can express the output voltage . So using Fourier series we can express the output voltage as V naught equals to 2 Vm by pi minus 4 Vm by 3 pi cos of 2 omega t, and there are higher order terms, but then you see for higher order harmonics the value of amplitude, the magnitude is so small that it does not make much of a difference to your final output voltage. So we can neglect the higher order terms or the harmonics. Now you see here there is no angular component. Fine. So this is the DC voltage, and here this corresponds to your AC component. Fine. So the output voltage for this particular circuit will have a DC component and some AC component. Okay. And as far as the ripple factor is concerned, or simply a ripple is concerned, it is a ratio of the ripple voltage divided by the BDC, that is the DC value of the current or voltage. Now if I look at this equation, I can express the DC output voltage, as VDC, which is equal to 2 Vm by pi. This implies IRMS will be equal to, now RMS is related to the AC component. Fine. So we have to just look at the magnitude part of it. It is 4 Vm by 3 pi. We are calculating the RMS value, so it is √2, and this is voltage. What we want is current, so you divide it by the reactance offered by the inductor or the resistance offered by the inductor. So voltage divided by resistance, what we get is the current. So we can simplify this as √2 by 3 VDC by XL. Now this current, okay, is flowing through XC, that is right now what we are calculating is this current which is flowing through this XC, Xc is the reactance offered by the capacitor. So the current flowing through Xc creates the ripple voltage in the output. The voltage across the output is the same, so we can write V R RMS equals to voltage is current into resistance, and here this current is passing through the capacitor, so we are introducing the reactance of the capacitor, so it is I RMS into Xc. So it is I RMS is root 2 by 3 VDC Xc divided by XL. So we know what is ripple factor. It is a ratio of VR RMS divided by VDC. So the ripple factor R equals to VR RMS divided by VDC. So it is root 2 by 3. I will get this VDC term over here. So what is left is root 2 by 3 dot into Xc by XL. Fine. Now, so we have got the ripple factor as R equals to root 2 by 3 Xc by XL, and Xc equals to 1 upon 2 omega c. Now why are we taking this 2 here is because the frequency after a full wave rectifier increases. Fine. If the line frequency is 50 Hz, so after rectification this becomes 100 Hz. So similarly the XL, the reactance offered by the inductor XL is 2 omega L. So what we need to do is we have to substitute this Xc and XL in this equation. So what we get is R equals to root 2 by 3 1 by 4 omega square CL. Fine. If we take a frequency as 50 Hz, that is omega is 2 pi f. Fine. F is 50 Hz. We'll take this capacitor in terms of microfarad, so multiply by 10 to the power minus 6, and inductor in terms of Henry. Then this ripple factor R equals to 1.194 divided by LC, and this is all important equation. And we have this load resistance RL. Now a breeder resistance, as the name suggests, is the resistor which is connected across the load and which is denoted as RB. Now let us try to understand why this breeder resistor is important. Input to this circuit is a full wave rectified signal Vi. Fine. Now the analysis that we have carried out in the previous slide, it was assumed in the analysis that for a critical value of inductor, either of the diode is always conducting. Fine. That is, the current does not fall to 0, and precisely this is the reason why inductor filter cannot be used for half wave rectifiers. Fine. If at all you people are going to use the half wave rectifier in any circuit design, then you don't have any other option to go for a capacitor filter, because this inductor filter demands to have current passing through the circuit all the times. Fine. And that's the reason why we had said, like, under critical value of inductor, critical meaning that is the minimum value of inductor which is required. We cannot go below that. So there is certain amount of inductor value which will permit the current to flow all the times. Fine. So what we expect here is that the current does not fall to zero. So the incoming current in here. The incoming current consists of two components. Okay, the first component is IDC, which is given as VDC by RL, DC value of current, and the second one is the sinusoidal varying component with peak value of 4 Vm by 3 pi XL. This equation we have seen here. Fine. Now, the negative peak of the AC current must always be less than the DC, because we have to have current passing all the time. So root 2 times IRMS should be less than or equal to VDC by RL, and we know that for LC filter IRMS equals to root 2 by 3 VDC by XL. Hence we can write 2 VDC by 3 XL less than or equal to VDC by RL. That is, VDC gets cancelled, so XL should be greater or equal to 2 by 3 times RL. That is, LC should be RL divided by 3 omega, where LC is the critical inductance. So when we sit to design a LC filter, fine, the equation is ripple is 1.194 divided by LC. So if it is given in the problem statement that you have to design an LC filter with a ripple content of 0.02, that is 2%, it should not exceed 2%, then how do we proceed? We have to assume either the value of C, fine, and calculate the value of L, or the best way is, we know the critical value of inductance, we know what is the load RL, omega is 2 pi F. From this equation we have to calculate the value of LC. Say for example it turns out to be 1 Henry, then this value of L, what to take here, should be greater than critical value of inductance. Then you can take it as 1.5 Henry and find the value of C. Okay, so that will satisfy the condition of 2% of ripple factor. Now this condition of XL greater or equal to 2 by 3 times RL cannot be satisfied for all the load requirements at no load. Okay, at no load meaning when the RL value is not connected. Fine. So when load resistance is not connected here in this circuit, if I disconnect the load resistance, disconnect meaning I take it out from the circuit, then it will act as a open circuit, and in that case the load resistance is infinite. Fine. And if it is so, then for this equation, if RL is infinite, that means the value of inductance will also tend to be infinity. XL is 2 omega L. Fine. So for open circuit condition, the value of XL also happens to be infinite. So to overcome this problem, a bleeder resistance RB is connected in parallel with RL. So I hope this is clear. We have said that XL should be greater than or equal to 2 by 3 times RL. Now this is the necessary condition to have current conduction through the circuit all the time. Fine. But then this condition does not hold true for all the load resistance values. For example, if I disconnect the load, then if I take out the RL from the circuit, okay, let me draw. If I take out the RL from the circuit, now in this case that RL becomes infinite, and if RL is infinite, then it will make our inductance value also infinite. Fine. So to overcome this problem, a bleeder resistor RB is connected. Fine. This RB. This RB is connected in parallel with the load resistance. So what this RB will ensure? Bleeder resistance RB, it will ensure that minimum current will always be present for the optimum operation of the inductor. So even if I disconnect the load, this RB will act as a load and there will be always a current passing through that particular inductor. So this will improve the voltage regulation. We will not go into details of it, what is voltage regulation and so on. You might have studied this in the lower semesters. So it improves the voltage regulation of the supply by acting as the preload on the supply. And another reason is, one is what we have discussed, that is it improves the voltage regulation. It improves the voltage regulation. And the second point is that it also provides a safety, by acting as a discharging path for a capacitor. If I don't connect this RB and if the load is removed, then I am not providing any path for this capacitor to discharge, and then it's a hazardous condition. So we have to provide an alternative path for this capacitor to discharge, and that job is done by this bleeder resistance RB. Okay. Now let us just summarize why this bleeder resistor is important. As I said, it improves the voltage regulation. Then this bleeder resistor can also be used as a voltage regulator. It can be used as voltage regulator. And the second point, it provides the safety to the operator by providing a discharge path to the capacitor. What is the meaning of this statement? So when a power supply is switched off, the filter capacitor discharges through it. That is why it is called as bleeder resistor. Fine. So let us take up one small problem based on LC filter, and then we'll start with the concept of pi section filter. So here is the problem statement. You are asked to design a filter. So whenever this word design appear in a problem, that means you have to find out the value of the components. In this case it is inductor, capacitor and a load resistor. If the problem statement start with estimate or determine, that means the component values are given, you have to find out the voltage and currents. That's the difference. Fine. So in this problem statement it is given as the output voltage V naught equals to 10 volt and output current say I naught equals to 200 milliamperes. If I know the output voltage and if I have the idea about the output current, I can easily find the output resistance, that is the load resistor. So it will be 10 volts divided by 200 into 10 to the power minus 3. So the answer is 50 ohms. So RL is 50 ohms. LC filter, so there will be a capacitor here across the load and inductor in series with the capacitor. Fine. Now we know that the ripple factor R equals to 1.194 divided by LC. So it is 0.2%. Fine. It has to be limited to 2%, or sometimes the wording is like it should not exceed 2%. So you have to take it as 2%. So 2% is 0.2% means 2 divided by 100. So it is 0.02 equals to 1.194 divided by LC. So this product LC equals to 59.7. Fine. Now as I said, we can assume L and find out C, or we can assume C or find out the value of L. But then here we have to remember that there has to be a critical value of inductance so that current passes or one of the diode is conducting all the time. Fine. So this critical value of L, is given as RL by 3 omega. RL is 50 and 3 into 2 pi F is 50, so it is 53 millihenry. Now the value of L, this is the critical value, so it is denoted as LC. Now the value of L should be greater than LC. Now by what amount? So we can take it as about 20% higher. So L should be 20% higher than LC. Fine. So if I take L equals to 60 millihenry, then, and if I substitute here in this equation, C will be about 1000 microfarad. So once your design is complete, you have to write the value here. First you write the notation, and the value is 1000 microfarad, and the inductance value is 60 millihenry. Fine. So this is about the LC filter. We will solve some more problems on this. Now let us try to understand what is a pi section filter. Now this is a topic which is based on multiple LC filters. Now there are two circuit configurations here. Okay, one in which we can make use of two or more L section filters. Just like just now we have studied about LC filter. With that LC we can have another stage of LC. So two inductors and two capacitors. Fine. From syllabus point of view, we are supposed to study CLC filter. So we'll concentrate on CLC filter or pi section filter. So let me straight away draw the circuit diagram. So here you have inductor, capacitor, and output is taken across the load resistance RL. So let me mark this as V naught, and here we have another capacitor. So this is C1 L C2, and input for this circuit is from full wave rectified signal. Okay, full wave rectified input. So this is the circuit diagram for CLC filter. Now in case of this CLC filter, the output is first appears across C1. So the output across C1 will minimize the ripple just like a C filter, and the output of C filter, that is C1 filter, is then subjected to LC2 filter, that is kind of a L section filter, so which will be further smoothened. So we exactly it's like two-stage filters here. First we have the capacitor, shunt capacitor filter, followed with the L section filter, that is LC2 filter. Now in this case, the value of ripple factor is given as R equals to √2 here, √2 into XC1 into XC2 divided by RL into XL. Now if a frequency is 50 Hertz, C is in terms of microfarad and RL is in terms of ohms, L in terms of Henry, then this value of R is equal to 5700 divided by LC1 C2 RL. So as far as the ripple factor is concerned, you can see that the ripple voltage in case of full wave rectifier with shunt capacitor is given as VR equals to IDC by 2FC1. You will understand this equation from the capacitor filter that we already covered. Fine. So the voltage, ripple voltage across this capacitor C1 is given as IDC upon 2FC1, and the RMS value of the second harmonic, RMS value of second harmonic is VAC RMS, that is VR peak to peak, is VR by pi √2. So I can write this as pi √2 IDC by 2F small f C1, or √2 IDC XC1, where I can write XC1 equals to 1 upon 2 omega C1, or 1 upon 4 pi FC1. Now this VAC RMS, okay, is applied to L section, so that the ripple voltage can be obtained by multiplying XC2 by XL. So let me write here in the statement. So the ripple voltage can be obtained by multiplying XC2 by XL. So that is V prime AC RMS. Now this is the voltage across the LC section. Fine, that is LC2. So it will be VAC RMS into XC2 by XL. So let us simplify this. Previously we have got this as root 2 IDC into XC1 into XC2 by XL, and the ripple factor R equals to V prime AC RMS divided by V DC. So let us substitute the values. So VDC can be written as IDC by RL. So this will cancel out, and we are going to get this. When we further simplify this, the equation will be root 2 XC1 XC2 divided by load resistance into XL. So this is the equation for ripple factor, and as I have said, if I take F equal to 50 Hertz, C in terms of microfarads, L in terms of Henry, and the load resistance in terms of ohms, then this value of R equals to 5700 divided by L C1 C2 RL. So we have derived this equation. Now let us calculate or try to understand this concept by solving an example. So example, let me write the statement first. Design CLC. So design a CLC or pi section filter for VDC equals to 10 volts. VDC is the voltage across the output, and the load current is 200 milliamperes, and the ripple factor is 2%. Fine. So solution: RL, the load resistance, will be output voltage divided by output current, that is VDC divided by RL. 10 divided by current is 200 into 10 to the power minus 3, so you get this as 50 ohms. Fine. Now ripple factor R equals to 5700 divided by L C1 C2 into 50. See, if I assume L equals to 10 Henry, it has to be greater than actually 1 Henry. So to be on a safer side, let us take L equals to 10 Henry. Okay, and C1 equals to C2 equals to C. So this reduces to 0.02 114 divided by LC square, or this implies C square equals to 570, C equals to 24 microfarad. So this completes our design. So whenever design is asked, a problem based on design statement, then you have to draw the circuit and mark all these components C1, C2, L and RL with their values obtained from this analysis. This is the most important. Fine. So basically what we do in case of pi filter, it is referred to as pi filter because of its unique shape. Fine. So to an existing LC filter, so if I look, if I observe this circuit carefully, so it is already existing LC filter. To this existing LC filter, we use another additional capacitor. So we use another additional capacitor to provide a smoother output voltage. So the resulting filter is referred to as pi filter. Now this pi section filter can reduce the ripple to large extent, and it also provides higher DC output voltage. But the biggest issue with this kind of circuit is that, particularly with PI filter, is that its regulation is very poor. Fine. So I hope you people have understood the theoretical background for the LC filter and a CLC filter. Fine. Now let us just check out some salient feature of L section and PI filter, and then we'll start with the numericals. So salient features of L section and CLC, that is PI filter. The first point, in PI filter the DC output voltage is much larger than that can be had from an L section filter with the same input voltage. In short, I'll write the PI filter output voltage is very much greater than that which can be obtained from L section filter. Okay, this is with respect to output voltage. The second point, in PI filter the ripples are less in comparison to those in the shunt capacitor or L section filter. It is clearly understood. Why? Because with the capacitor filter the ripples are already very much reduced, and to that particular output we are adding another LC section, so naturally the ripples has to reduce. So as far as the choice of inductor is concerned, the value of inductor or the choke is which is required in PI filter is smaller in comparison to L filter. So a choke, that is the inductor value, okay, in case of PI filter is less as compared to the L value in L section filter. The reason for this is, if you look at this circuit, a signal is traveling from this side, so the point here the signal is very much reduced because of this shunt capacitor, and then again we have having another LC section filter. So I don't require that much of a high value of L because the ripples are very much reduced by the capacitors, the shunt capacitor filter. So that's the second point. The third point, in PI filter the capacitor is to be charged to the peak value, and hence the RMS current in supply transformer is larger as compared to the L section filter. So in PI filter it is understood, in case of PI filter the capacitor, fine, has to be charged to a peak value of RMS current. So charged to peak RMS current, and hence the value of capacitor is larger as compared to that of L section filter. So compared to L section filter capacitor. Now the most important point is this fourth one. The voltage regulation in case of PI filter is very poor. Voltage regulation in case of PI filter is very much poor, as we already mentioned it. So PI filters are suitable for fixed loads, fine, whereas, so let me write here, and hence suitable for fixed loads, okay, and L section filters can work satisfactorily with a varying load provided a minimum current is maintained. So L filter can be used for varying load, meaning changing load, provided a minimum current is maintained all the time, provided minimum current is maintained. And the fifth point, in case of pi filter, the PIV, that is peak inverse voltage, is larger than that in case of L section filter. In case of a pi filter, PIV is larger than that in case of an LC section filter. Fine. These are some of the features of comparative features, in fact, for L section and a pi filter. Now let us start with some numericals to get or to understand this concept in more detail. So here is the problem statement. Refer to the voltage waveform as shown in figure. Let me draw the figure. So this is the waveform of output voltage across the load. So you have this ripple content. The peak to peak value here, the peak to peak value of this ripple is 0.25 volts and it is lying on 12 volts. So this value 12 volt is the VDC value. So from this figure, we can say VDC is 12 volt. The ripple voltage is always centered around VDC. Fine. So if I smoothen it out, then the average value will be VDC. Clear? Then VR peak to peak is 0.25 volts. So it is undesired. What is the desired signal? A constant straight line, fixed value. Now we have to check out what is the ripple factor in terms of percentage. Fine. So ripple factor R is given as VR RMS divided by VDC. We know the value of VR peak to peak. So to calculate V ripple, VR, when I say V is the voltage, VR is the ripple voltage. So VR peak to peak is the, what is the meaning of this? It is the peak to peak. From peak to this peak, the ripple voltage is 0.25 and we have to calculate now the RMS value. Then only we can compare VDC and the AC component of this signal. Okay. So VR RMS will be equal to 0.25. Since we are taking the entire VR peak to peak, so you have to divide by 2, and since this is sinusoidal signal, it is √2. So this answer is 0.088 volts. So you substitute here. So VR RMS is 0.088 volts divided by VDC. It is 12 volts. So answer is 0.00737. So percentage ripple is equal to 0.74%. Fine. So typically this ripple voltage should be less than 2%. So right now what we are getting is 0.74%. So design is fairly good. Now see here, in this particular example, we have not mentioned anything about the component value, inductor, capacitor, nothing has been mentioned about it. But by looking at the waveform itself, we can calculate the ripple value. Fine. Now this is as good as graphical analysis. So when you perform the experiment in the lab, fine, you know the value of inductor, you know the value of capacitor, and you know the theoretical value of L. For inductor LC filter, the ripple factor is 1.194 divided by LC. So what you need to do is just substitute the value of L and C and get the ripple factor. That is the theoretical value. And when you mount the circuit in the laboratory, find a practical circuit, then you have to check out the output waveforms on the CRO. Now for example, this is what you observe on the CRO. Now by just looking at the CRO, and if you have the knowledge about the computation of this ripple factor, you can easily calculate the ripple content. Fine. So this is more about the graphical analysis. Next problem, a power supply uses a full wave rectifier and a capacitor filter. So straight away it is mentioned that we are using capacitor filter and that is a full wave rectifier. So you have to recollect the equation 1 upon root 1 divided by 4 root 3. 4 root 3 is for full wave rectifier, and for half wave rectifier it is 2 root 3 FCRL. Okay. So the filter feeds a load resistance of 1 kilo ohms, that is the load resistance. The DC voltage across the load is 12 volts, meaning the output voltage what is intended is 12 volts. Peak to peak value of the ripple is not to exceed 0.2 volts. So we can take ripple voltage as 0.2 volts. Don't get misled with that terms exceed or should be limited to. Take that same value as it is and determine the minimum capacitance value of the filter capacitor. Assume the frequency as 50 Hz. Some textbook take the frequency of 60 Hz. 60 Hz is the frequency which is used in United States. Fine. In India, the power line frequency is 50 Hz. So let us start with the is VR peak to peak is 0.2 volts. Then the ripple waveform can be assumed to be triangular in shape because it is capacitor filter. Okay, this will be the ripple voltage. Peak to peak is 0.2 volts. So second part, VR RMS equals to 0.2 divided by 2 root of 3. Root of 3 because it is triangular. Why it is triangular? Because in case of capacitor filter, this is what we get. It is not sinusoidal the way we get in the L filter or LC filter. Now third point is the ripple factor is VR RMS divided by VDC. So 0.0, this value is 0.058 volts divided by VDC is 12. So what you get is 0.0048. Now we got the value of R. What is asked? Determine the value of capacitance. So R is equal to 1 upon 4 root 3 FCRL. So we have got the value of R, we know the frequency, we know the value of RL. So our job is to find the value of C. So C will be 1 upon 4 root 3 into frequency is 50 into the ripple is 0.0048 into the load resistance, that is 1000. So answer is 601 microfarad. So this completes our problem. So this is about the capacitor filter. Fine. So with that we have come to an end of this class. Thank you.